I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm crying. Hey guys, it's Ali and welcome back to my channel. Now, today's vlog is going to be like a little bit different than what I've done before. This vlog is going to be about my summer in Alaska as a seasonal kayak guide. I feel like maybe some of you guys are interested in the seasonal life or seasonal work. If you guys don't know what that is, it's kind of what it sounds like, where it's just you go work at a place just for a season, just for the winter season or just for the summer season typically. This can usually be for a lot of like outdoor activities like what I did, kayaking. It could be for river rafting. In the winter, it can be like a ski resort. Usually those types of things where it's short term, and usually they provide housing. Sometimes they provide meals as well. It's kind of like a good short-term job to use to travel. Obviously, seasonal work is not just in Alaska. It can be all over. What Ariel and I used whenever we were searching for jobs is we used coolworks.com. I think literally what we typed into Google was like marine jobs in Alaska, and then that led us to Coolworks, and then Coolworks is a really amazing website. I'm obviously not partnered with them or anything, I wish, but they're a really cool website where they advertise a bunch of seasonal jobs, and you can kind of put in your specifications of where you want to go. What do you want to do? Do you want to do an outdoors job? Do you want to do a hospitality job? You can kind of specify it to your skills or just what you're interested in, and you can also specify, I want a job that will provide housing, and that narrows it down. But there's still a bunch of jobs out there will provide housing or will provide subsidized housing, which is what our job did, so we got it like a lot cheaper. So that is what Ariel and I did. We went to coolworks.com, we made a list of all the jobs that we were interested in, and it took us to Sitka, Alaska. So I really had no clue what I was getting myself into. But that's how a lot of these seasonal jobs are whenever it's like kayaking or river rafting, anything like that, tour guiding. A lot of them will provide training. So if there's a job that you're interested in, but you're like, oh, I don't meet the qualifications for this job, just apply. Just apply, just do it. You'll be surprised how far you can go. I saw this quote a few years ago, and it has stuck with me like ever since I saw it when I was probably like 16. I'm sure maybe you guys have heard it before, but it's something along the lines of how men are more likely to apply for jobs that they're not qualified for, and they are more likely to get them. And women don't take that chance because they read the job description. Instead of saying like, oh, I could do that, I could do that, these are the skills I have to bring to the table, they pick out all the things that they can't do, like, oh, I can't do that, or oh, I don't have that qualification, and so they don't apply. But men do. And ever since I saw that, it really reframed my viewpoint. So that's for all my girlies out there. Take the risk. So I'm making this vlog now because now is a perfect time to start applying for seasonal jobs for the summer if that is something that you're interested in. A lot of these jobs are going to start probably around April or May, maybe even a little bit earlier, like in March, about a month or so. So those are usually some of the most common start dates, but at least for my job, and I'm sure a lot of others, a lot of times these jobs still continually hire throughout the season because people leave or maybe they have to go back to school. But if you are sitting at home and you feel like you don't know what you want to do with your life, and all you know is maybe you want to travel and you want to get out of your hometown, I could not recommend seasonal work enough. It can take you all over the United States. It can really take you all over the world, and you can make a lot of money doing it, okay? So that's why I'm posting this video now, and that's why it's kind of random. But like I said, they are hiring for these jobs now, and so if you're interested in it, here's kind of like a little overview of my experience. I'm going to tell you guys the pros and cons of doing seasonal work in Alaska. So a little disclaimer, obviously I could only speak about my experience, and my experience was in Sitka, Alaska, which is a small island, and my experience is also as a kayak guide. That was my job. Our job provided housing, and they also provided vehicles for us, which was amazing. And I'll start this off by saying I loved the company that I worked for. Like, it had its ups and downs like any company, but in the end I really do feel like the managers were really great. They really took care of us, and we had like our stressful moments. I do think it's like one of the best companies that I've ever worked for, and I feel like they genuinely cared about me like as a person. A bunch of people that I worked with are actually returning for this next season because they also really enjoyed their time there. Okay, but let's start this off. I made a TikTok about this, and so I'm just gonna kind of expand on these points that I wrote. First con is the weather in Sitka, Alaska. It is cold and it is rainy for the majority of the time you are there, especially in the spring whenever you first get there, and then especially coming towards fall whenever you're getting ready to leave. You're working long, cold hours in the rain, because as a kayak guide, you're out in the rain. In Sitka, it rains constantly, so we never cancel for rain, we only cancel for wind. So there were definitely times, especially in the beginning, when my hands were frozen out there. You're kayaking for upwards of 2 hours. So if you don't like being cold and you don't like being wet, you would not like this job. So that's the first con, is the weather can be harsh to live in. Okay, con number 2 is that if you have never kayaked before, like myself, it will be a painful first month and a half. You are using back muscles that you have never used before. And I considered myself like a pretty fit person. I worked on the boat. I would go to the gym almost every day, lifting weights, doing cardio. So I considered myself in shape. But kayaking, you are using muscles that you have never used before. You're going like this, and never in your life, or even whenever you're working out, are you ever kind of making this motion. Like whenever you're doing rows, you're going like that, you know, and whenever you're lifting, you're going like that or like that, but you're never going like that. And so that was a struggle for me. I literally, after like 2 weeks, I thought I was gonna have to get a back brace off of Amazon because my back was in so much pain when I was kayaking. I was like, I can't do this for the rest of the summer. But then I woke up one day and I went kayaking and I had no pain whatsoever. And so your body will adjust, but you just gotta be prepared that you're gonna be in pain that first month if this is something you haven't done before. That is just something that you need to be prepared for. You're gonna be in pain if you're having an active job like this. Con number 3 kind of goes along with con number 1, which is that the sunny days are far and few between. We did get stretches of sunny days in the summer, like we would have a week or so of sunny days, and honestly by the end of that week I'd kind of be missing the rain. But if you are a person that thrives in the sunshine and you can't stand the rain, or you can't stand cloudy days, like you'll go crazy, I don't necessarily recommend Southeast Alaska. And like I said, I can only speak for Southeast Alaska. That's where Sitka was. Sitka is notoriously rainy. If you're looking at jobs in that location, or maybe Washington, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because you will go stretches of weeks without seeing the sunshine, really. Especially those last few weeks before we left, around end of September, October, I feel like the cold, rainy weather was really starting to get to us, especially just being stir crazy on this island, which brings me to my next point. It can be hard to live on a small island for upwards of 6 months. You're going to the same restaurants, which are very limited. You are going to the same bars. You're seeing all the same people. You feel like maybe you would get claustrophobic living on an island or living in a small town, or like a lot of the lodges and stuff are in remote places, so you won't have easy access to go to a city or go to a nearby town. You might be stuck in a small location for a long time. If that thought really bothers you or upsets you, you might want to look for seasonal work that is in more of like a general city or something. And the last con that I will talk about is that you are living with strangers and you are living with the people that you work with. And if you've ever had a job with coworkers that you can't stand, imagine you go home to live with them. It's not always the best. I got pretty lucky with this job though. Like most of the people I worked with, yeah, a lot of them were kooky, but they were still very like chill, fun people. And a lot of them, it was kind of like a sibling relationship where it's like you're annoyed by them, but they're still your friend in the end. And in the end, you still have their back. And there was only a handful of people that were honestly nightmares to work with. And a majority of them ended up getting let go because of various reasons. But yeah, you are living and working with these people. So you go to work with them all day and then you go home and you live with them. And also in like a small location, like I mentioned, there's not a lot of social life. And so these people that you're working and living with are also like your only friends, and they're your only source of social activity. So these are the people that you're just interacting with all summer. And so by the end of the summer, definitely it was kind of exhausting. And it's like I love these people, I do, but also like it's hard living and working with the same people, especially for the ones that I didn't like or didn't get along with. So that's kind of what makes it different from a regular job. At a regular job, if you just like your coworker, you just get to go home and you don't have to see them and you can go hang out with your friends and have a good time. With seasonal work, at least in my experience, the people you work with are the people you live with and they're the people you hang out with. So you better pray that you get a good group of people. Those are the two big things: living with the people that you work with, and then also braving the elements every day that you're outside. And those two things together can really kind of create a stressful environment. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you guys. That last month in Sitka was really, really hard on like myself. It really took a toll on my mental health, but that doesn't take away from all of the good times. And so that's what I'm gonna talk about next, all of the pros. So like I mentioned, it will be rainy and cold a good chunk of the time you are there. But the pro with that is that Alaska, at least, and most of these places that you will be visiting, like if you're going to the Yosemite, if you're going to Yellowstone, if if you're going to Utah, these will be the most beautiful places you have ever seen. And even when my toes feel like they were about to fall off from frostbite, I didn't even care, because I would just look around and be on the water, and just with the rain pattering down, and you'd see a whale breach in the distance, and you'd have like the forest trees just whistling behind you, and then you'd hear an eagle screech above. It's incredible. It's like a life-altering experience to be out there for the best. So yes, I was wet and I was cold, but I'd rather be wet and cold in the most stunning location of my life than be like wet and cold in my hometown. So next, we talked about how kayaking will be very painful that first month, but the pro to that is by the end, you have learned this brand new skill. I was a kayaking pro. I was rescuing people during the middle of a maelstrom, and and I had back muscles for days, and I was just ripped. I just felt strong and healthy and like powerful, and I just felt good in my body, and I had spent the whole summer doing something active, and that just felt good to me. Like, I felt good. Above all, like, I have this brand new skill that I learned. You kind of have this feeling that you stop learning stuff after the age of like 12, you know? That's kind of when you stop trying these new things. And I feel like there's kind of been a resurgence of, especially among women, of us like trying to get back into hobbies and just trying new things, even if we're bad at it, like pottery or painting. And I want to encourage that for these like outdoor activities also. I never in a million years thought that I could be a kayak guide. I had never done it in my life. How can I guide a kayak? I don't even know what a kayak is. But I did it. I believed in myself. I had people that believed in me. I put in the work, and I suffered, and I came through triumphant on the other side. So at the end of the summer, no matter what had happened, I was proud of myself for doing it. And that pride that I had and that confidence that I now had was invaluable. So that is a pro. Okay, again, with the weather. Like I said, the sunny days are far and few between. This goes along with the beautiful thing. The sunny days that you have are the best days of your life. If you can think back to a childhood memory of like being at summer camp or just being outside in your backyard, that is what it felt like on those summer days. It just took me back to it. And then you like smell the outdoor like pine needles and everything, and the ocean spray, and the blues are so blue and the greens are so green. I felt just so at peace and so happy. And so yes, the sunny days are rare, but they are well worth the wait. Okay, and my last pro that I will talk about is that yes, you have to live with these strangers, and you have to work with them, and you will be stuck with them day in and day out for 6 months straight. But some of those strangers will end up being like the best people you have ever literally, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm crying. It is just so crazy, because like that last month in Sitka was really hard. But then whenever I think back to the bulk of the summer and just how amazing it was, like, oh, it was so special and lucky. And like, I'm not even going back to Alaska for another season, because nothing will ever top that experience that I had. But you guys, the people you will meet, some of them are gonna be crazy, and some of them are gonna be horrible, and some of them are gonna be the best people you've ever met in your entire life. These two girls that Ariel and I lived with, whenever I think back to like us cooking dinner together, or us going on our hikes together, or having our movie nights, like, we had so much fun, and they were both such unique and like special human beings that I will treasure them for like my entire life. I met my boyfriend in Alaska, like out of all places in this entire world. To have met the person that like I fall in love with for the first time, I met him in this small tiny little island in Alaska. It just feels like fate, you know, and we're still dating. And if I had never taken that chance to go out there, I would have never met him. There's this one girl, and I hope if she's watching this, she knows who she is. I don't want to say her name because I don't want to like you know, invade her privacy, but she was the nicest person I have ever met in my entire life. I don't even know if she like cares about me that much, but I care about her so much, and I think about her all the time, because she was just such a special human being to me, because she was just so pure-hearted and lovely. And you'll meet people like that you will just carry with you for the rest of your life. Even if you never see them again, you will always have those experiences that you created together. Especially doing seasonal work, especially in such a niche thing like a kayak guide in Sitka, Alaska, that is something that no one else in your life will ever be able to relate to, and no one else will ever have experienced that summer with you except those people that you were close with, and you guys will always have that bond between you no matter what happens in the future. And I think that is just such a special thing. Okay guys, this vlog wasn't meant to be like super long. I feel like I've been yapping it up, but I hope that just gave you guys some perspective on what seasonal work is like, specifically in Alaska, specifically as a kayak guide. Like I said, it's not all gonna be perfect. It's not all gonna be sunshine and rainbows. You're gonna have hard days where you will want to go home. But I can almost guarantee that the majority of your time will be so unique and special. And at the end of it, you will be so proud of yourself for having done that and gone out and taken a risk that a lot of people don't take. So I just say, if you are sitting at home right now and you don't know what to do with your life or with your summer and you just know you want to go and do something, literally get on coolworks.com right now. Type in any location that you want to go to. Just let the rest of your life unfold how it should be. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will answer anything for you guys. Thanks for watching, and next week we will return to our regular normal like vlogs of my life, but this is a little bit something different and I hope you guys liked it. I also forgot to mention, I literally vlogged my whole Alaska experience. I have like 12 different vlogs about the seasonal work I did there and my life there. So if you want to see what it was like, go check it out. It's on my channel. It's under my playlist titled, I think it's just titled Alaska. If you literally want to see what life was like there, go watch those vlogs. I love them so much and they make me so happy, and I'm so happy I filmed it all. Thanks. Bye.